Grab yourself a notepad. Write down a little task. Cross it off. Congrats! You've accomplished something. Now, it's time to celebrate. I was Welcome to One on Wine, a toast to champagne. Champagne is a sparkling wine. Does that mean all sparkling wine is champagne? Nope. First of all, it must be made in Champagne, France to be considered a true champagne.
Hi, Mary. I just got back from Champagne, where I made my sparkling wine. So I guess I made champagne, right?
Did you use the champagne method? Did you use the specific grapes? Did you grow it in accordance with champagne law?
No, I just poured some seltzer in my white wine.
Then it's not champagne! So long, Jeff! There should supposed to be a trapdoor button under here. Get out. In order for champagne to be champagne, it's got to meet a ton of requirements. Among many things, it has to use specific grapes. Yes, it has to be grown in Champagne, France, but in order to be champagne, it must be made using the traditional method, otherwise called the champagne method. This is how champagne is made today. Take the bubbles, you cram them in a bottle, you cork it, you send it to my house. Done. 3 grapes, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier, are pressed, and the seeds, stems, and skins are immediately thrown out. The champagne ferments in an oak barrel or stainless steel tanks. Yeast is added. The yeast eats up the sugar, making alcohol and releasing CO2. After this first fermentation, the winemakers blend the different batches to get the right fit. Then they throw the final mix into a super sturdy bottle and add more yeast and sugar. The bottle is corked and stored. The added yeast eats the sugar, making more alcohol and more carbon dioxide. The wine is cellared and stored upside down. The yeast makes its way to the neck. They freeze the neck, remove the frozen yeast, add liqueur and sugar, and cork it up. During this stage, depending on the sugar you add, you find out if your champagne is going to be a brut, dry, extra dry, or demi-sec. Then you slap that champagne sticker on the front and pop that cork because it's time to celebrate. Some people think it was a famous monk, Dom Perignon. Some people think it was a physician, Christopher Merritt. The truth is, it was Mother Nature. Champagne, like most of us, was probably invented by accident. But don't worry, we still love you. One of the most prevailing beliefs is that somewhere in the 16th century, a group of French monks bottled the wine before it finished fermentation. Sacre bleu! And after it was bottled and left to sit in a warmer climate, the yeast woke up and started a second fermentation in the bottle. So when the first bottle of champagne was popped, they said, "Am I being pranked? Why is my wine so excited? Tastes like liquid tickles." Okay, so what about wines like Prosecco? Is that not a champagne? No, it's a delicious sparkling wine made in Italy near Venice. Prosecco uses different grapes, and the second fermentation happens in a tank, not in the bottle like champagne. Okay, so what about California champagnes? Well, there's a little loophole here. Quick history. Madrid Agreement, 1891. France is like, only we can make champagne. Everyone is like, sure. Everyone except the US. At this time, a California champagne was already being produced by Isaac Cook. The French are like, come on! Fast forward, World War I rhymes in France, where champagne is made, is decimated. By 1917, every place that made champagne was bombed out. Treaty of Versailles. The French are like, Section 234, only French can make champagne. Y'all owe us that. The US was like, fine, that's cool, signed the treaty, but never ratified it. So that loophole allowed California champagne companies like Corbel and Cook's to freely make the bubbly without getting in any trouble. Woo! Continue fast forward, 2005. France is like, hey everybody, France again, please, only champagne can be from Champagne. The US was like, fine. France was like, oh really? For real? And the US was like, only if all the people that make champagne can still call it champagne. Whatever. Doing brunch, of course there's the traditional mimosa, but a fun way to mix it up is throw some fruit and champagne in an ice tray. give it a freeze, and boom, you got yourself some mimosa cubes. What about something fancier? Try a classic champagne cocktail. In a champagne flute, add 2 or 3 dashes of bitters, a sugar cube, some brut champagne, and a squeeze with a little lemon twist on the top. Champagne pairs with so much: cookies, popcorn, triple cream cheeses, shrimp, salami, your plaid shirt, Mondays. Bottom line, sure, champagne is the drink of choice when it comes to celebrating, but you get to decide when to celebrate. So you can spend your life waiting around for an excuse like Happy New Year or congrats on your wedding, or you can start making your own excuses like the mail came or I bought some champagne.